Shut the gates. I'm back. Last game of the Sunday ticket. We've got the Manly Seagulls taking on the Canterbury Bulldogs. So, this one, both teams are 0-2. But they've played way different opponents. Way different. So, Manly, they lost against Melbourne in the first round 18-4. And they lost against the Chooks 9-8 in the second one. So, they're respectable at least. 0-2, but really, they don't have to verse those blokes again unless they're in the those grudge rounds where it's the play the team twice, which would be a bit unfair. But the Dogs the Dogs versus the Eels, who really didn't play that well in their first game, and they still lost 8-2. And then the Cowboys were terrible against the Broncos, and then they they sort of cleaned up the Dogs. So you wonder where they are. Really, Kieran Foran, I think's back. He's ready to go. I think Manly are going to win this one. They could win it comfortably. What's really annoying me at the moment is everyone's saying that Manly are a dark horse. But if everyone's saying they're a dark horse, are they really a dark horse? So I get where they're coming from, but their depth isn't great. A few key injuries and they're gone for the year. They last year I think they really overachieved and they've got worse. I think their team's a little worse this year, especially because they let they let the Panthers hooker, what's his fucking name? I think by letting Coruscant go, they had Fainu, which was he was a good prospect, but then they really lost him at the last second. Fainu, he stabbed someone. What's he doing? Why is he doing that for? At a church? What an egg. But they did get Denny Levi, who is probably the ultimate rocks and diamonds player. 1 minute he could be the match, the match winner. He could play an absolute he's playing for New Zealand for the next 30 years, but then he should be in reserve grade for the next week. He's terrible sometimes, and I just don't think that's what Manly need. I think they really need a solid hooker for Cherry Evans, and whoever's playing 5'8" that week. They sort of mix it up a bit, but they have one of the best props in the game. Marty Tapau, he's really good, and the key though are the two Travojevic brothers, and they'll need to be on. But I think even if they weren't on, I think they'd still beat the Dogs this week because the Dogs are just struggling for points. So my tip is Manly 13+. Not dark horses anymore. So what do you guys think though? Does Manly can they get up? Can they get up there at Central Coast? Or will the Dogs, can they post their first win of the season? Let us know in the comments. Shut the gates.